What is going on, everybody? For starters, as in traditional fashion here, the land acknowledgement. I'm recording this here on occupied territory, otherwise known as Albuquerque, New Mexico. And y'all already know me, I don't have to say too much, but I'm going to say it anyway. Your host, Zachariah Jazz, and this is It's Controversial. There's so much has been going on. So much content. So many things to talk about, but it's not just content or things, something to talk about, something to be mad about, something to be angry about, be pissed off, something to yell at some people about, maybe even do some more extreme things. Who knows, but we'll get to that later. We're talking about Roe v. Wade and the Supreme Court SCOTUS overturning Roe v. Wade, essentially taking away a woman's right to her bodily autonomy and her choice of what to do with it. Undoing 50 years of work, 50 years of a right that women had to their own bodies. And people like to make this argument. It's murder. It's inhumane. They just want the right to be able to kill an unborn child. This, that, and the other. Though probably a significant, overwhelming amount of Republicans are closet baby killers and rapists themselves. They just don't have the gall to say it. It would ruin their image. I wonder how many of these white cisgendered males have skeletons in their closet of baby fetuses. I wonder how many. But, of course, these they wouldn't be alive, though, right? They wouldn't technically be living. Not that they are dead, but that a fetus doesn't gain any sort of memory or feeling or consciousness, I guess, until about 6 months of being in the womb. Now, what is it that makes us human? Is it having a physical presence? Or is it the thought that we have in our mind, the consciousness, the awareness, self-awareness? What is it that makes a human a human? Now, I am who I am. Is it because of my body? Is it because of my physical being? No, I wouldn't say that. This is just meat and bone and blood and flesh. I feel what makes me human is the person that's saying all this to you now. Zachariah Jazz. One of a kind. I think that's what makes me human. Not the fact that I'm here physically, but I'm able to speak to you. And I will remember this tomorrow, because I'm consciously saying it. I'm aware of it. I think that's what makes me human. Something that isn't self-aware, or just a husk of what would be a human being. I don't think that is in and of itself a human. It's lifeless. It's not technically alive yet because it hasn't reached that point in its development to be alive. Right? I mean, that's what I take away from it, anyway. And there are several reasons why a woman would get an abortion. I myself Of course, it wasn't my choice, and I was devastated. But in hindsight, was I ready? I was 15 years old. 15. When my girlfriend at the time had an abortion. 15 years old. She was the same age. Yes, yeah, I know, it's young. Yep. Am I ashamed of that? No. Experiences make me who I am, but that's for another topic entirely. Yes, I was upset. And I understandably why anybody would be. But that is just one reason why somebody would get an abortion. Now you can argue and say, oh, well, keep your legs closed, right? That's the easy one. But what about when a girl is raped by her dad, by her uncle, by some psycho on the street? What about that? Or her brother? What happens when it was a forced child? Or what happens if the mother's life was in jeopardy? That if she were to follow through with the pregnancy, that she might not make it. Would she want to birth a motherless child? Would she? Or what if she was a drug addict? Or what if the baby would be born with some life-altering birth defect that she couldn't afford, or maybe the baby wouldn't survive from long enough to even generate or create or have something to be memorable in their little young life? What about that? Or what about the overwhelming amount of black women who die at childbirth because of medical disparities, because black women don't receive the same treatment as their white counterparts do? How many? It's a lot. It's a lot. Now, so these people who claim to be pro-life, they don't think about that, do they? They don't think about the hundreds of thousands of women that are going to die at childbirth. No, they are not pro-life. They are pro-birth. Right? Now, being pro-choice, pro-lifers are kind of pro-choice, right? In a way. Because being pro-choice is a person having the choice to choose whether or not to have an abortion. You can choose to not have one, right? Now they would want to be able to have that choice to be able to choose, wouldn't they, these pro-lifers? Right? Or what if somebody told them that no, you can't, if you get pregnant, we're gonna kill your baby. You can't have it. How would they feel then? Woo, man, they would be up in arms, right? They'd go fucking crazy. This is wrong, and it's gonna stir up a lot of shit. And we all have enough shit on our plate already. You know, people say, oh, this is just a first. They're coming for black people. They're coming for the LGBTQIA plus community. It's like, what do you mean they're coming for us next? I mean, haven't they been chomping at the bit for 400 years? What do you mean they're coming for us next? They haven't. We don't have anything. We don't have protections. We don't have privileges. We don't have anything. What are they? What more can they take from us? We don't have some anti-Asian hate bill protection. We don't have none of that shit. So I mean, they've been coming at us for a long time, you know. So that I would just really appreciate it. Anybody would stop that argument. But what's happening right now, and the fact that it does overwhelmingly affect black women. It is more important now, more than any other time in our history in this blood-stained country, for black men to stand up and protect and be in solidarity and follow the lead of our black women. They are powerful. It's time we listen. Recently, I seen this video of of this black queen in a gas station, I think it was, and this white dude was in front of her, in line in front of her, and something happened. I forgot what started this altercation, but the white dude started letting off on her, swinging on her, blah 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 blah. Left, right, left, right. The woman's desperately trying to fight back. She was not expecting this man to turn around and start swinging on her. Well, guess who's in the background, walking towards them? A black man. And when I tell you that he didn't do a fucking thing to stop this attack, I mean he didn't do a motherfucking thing. He didn't do shit. Like, just maybe like a whoa, 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 whoa. No, brothers. When we see that shit, we go on attack mode. But protect mode, really, right? We don't stand for that shit no more. We don't stand for that shit no more. This misogyny needs to stop too. Talking about our women as B words and H words and WHO blah 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 words, and degrading them and belittling them. Especially black women, but all women. It's time to stop. We need to take a step back and listen to our black women, because they are leaders. They've been raising our sons, raising our kids, raising our daughters, raising our families for generations. While by state design, we've been incarcerated or forced to live a life on the streets that we wouldn't want for our kids, or dead. So in our absence, these women have become leaders, and they've raised kings, they've raised queens. Although I don't believe in a monarchy or leaders in general, but I understand the precedent for it. And women need to be leading this charge right now. And brothers, we gotta be their sword and shield. It is far past time. So put down the bullshit Open your mind. Stop worshiping celebrities. Stop fantasizing about fucking sports. Stop dreaming of these things that are the man uses to oppress and exploit us. Fuck all that shit. Time to get rid of this materialism, money over people, power over family, money over giving, money over marching. It's time to stop that shit. Shit's about to hit the fan, yo. We can't do this shit no more. So, another topic that I want to get to today is a project, a mutual aid project that I am starting. Well, that I've started, but it hasn't really got off the ground yet. I'm having a hard time doing that. But it is called Hope for the Hood. And so here's a little bit about that. The West Mesa community needs you. In these dark and uncertain times, it's hard to hold on to hope. Our unhoused neighbors and friends have lost that hope, and I'd like to give some back to them. It wouldn't seem like much, but it means the world to them. It encourages them to also help others in need. I accept donations in any form: blankets, snacks, socks, band-aids, etc. If you would like to contribute financially, my Cash App is Black Riot Jazz, money sign before, and 505-582-0729 is my cell number. I will provide receipts for items purchased with all monetary donations at contributors' request, so you know what your funds are going to. Otherwise, a link to my Amazon wishlist will be attached to this post. The contributions purchased from the wishlist I provided can be shipped to my address, or if you would like to deliver personally, that can be arranged. Contact the number provided for more information. There are other items on this list I do not intend to distribute. Those items would still help me with the work I do on the streets every day. Any contribution is a helpful one, and any thought given to helping is appreciated. My friends need some hope back in their lives. They want to get off the streets so bad. Hopefully this project can give them a reason to believe that they can do it. So, just to talk a little bit more about this project, I've been providing as much as I can to my friends that live out on the streets, as much as I can, straight or out of my own pocket, and it's unsustainable. It really is. I quit my job at the Speedway, which, side note, I'm trying to get that job back right now. But I quit my job because the woman who was general manager before was trying to get me fired for because I'm cool with everybody out on the streets, pretty much. She was changing rules to little things that she know that I do just to try to get me fired. Trying to do things to get me to quit, which of course I did, but it's just because I wasn't going to take that no more. I should have gone to HR, but yeah, it was a dumb mistake. So I got a new job at this neighborhood market called Big Mo's, but I'm only making $11 an hour versus the $13 I was before. And a lot of times I'm only working 2 hours a day because the store doesn't bring in that much business, so they can't pay out as much. And so my work that I do is really unsustainable, So if anybody would like to help me in acquiring these resources for all my friends out there, that would be enormously helpful. And I'd be so grateful, and they'd all be so grateful. If anybody would like to come out and help me distribute, I would be grateful for that too. And I've started this project for a couple weeks now, and I haven't gotten any donations, and I have to admit that I get discouraged, because I see other organizations that are doing so well and getting donations and being able to distribute them. And I find that this work is hard to do if your name's not attached to any sort of organization, if you're not attached to any group or anything like that. It's really discouraging, and it's frustrating, kind of. I see other groups on Instagram and stuff, and on Facebook and stuff, and they're able to do all these things for our friends on the streets, and I'm sitting here struggling, trying to do all that I can with anything that I can. And it's hard. It's really hard. But I won't quit. Because I don't mind doing everything, myself and out of my own pocket. I'll do it. I'll always do it, regardless. But if I have some support, that would help a lot. So consider, donating or purchasing any of these items. Like I said, they can be shipped to my address. If you call the number provided, we can organize that, set that up. Or, you can bring them to me personally, or we can go distribute them together. Whatever the case may be, whatever you want to do, whatever you're comfortable with, I'm okay with. So, yeah. So, about the unhoused community, my friends on the streets, there's these designated areas within the city that the city wants to place people who don't want to use the tiny home villages, the gateway centers, all the other stuff, all the shelters that the city is attempting to provide. Let's cover that real quick. A lot of these sanctuaries, I guess, they come with rules and regulations, right, and requirements to even be able to stay there and live there. And one of those is, I know at the tiny home village, it requires that any person seeking shelter within the village has to be clean and drug-free for 2 weeks. Well, let's talk about how impossible that is. My friend Andy, he went to jail recently because over at Circle K, they had accused him of breaking and entering when they couldn't even prove that in court. The cop couldn't prove that in court. So it got dismissed and he got let go. Well, he was in for the better part of a week, maybe a little bit more. And when he got out, he was couldn't stop thinking to himself that this was his chance, this was his opportunity, that he could get clean. But one thing he didn't think of was that where does he go from there? What does he do? He don't have resources to be able to find somewhere to sleep, find somewhere to eat, get clean clothes. He doesn't have any of that. Now, addiction can be a subconscious reaction, a social one, right? That when something is provided to you, your habit, your addiction, it's almost a no-brainer. And the yes or no question has already been answered for you before you even thought of what to say. It's already been answered. It's 9 times out of 10, it's always an immediate, yeah, sure. I'll have a hit, or I'll have a drink, or I'll have a drag, I'll have a bite, whatever. That question has already been answered for you. That decision has already been made. Unless you have gone through rigorous amounts of self-discipline and practice lived, practice real time to be able to say no. If you haven't done that, if you're fresh out, this is your first time since you've been clean that somebody has offered anything to you, majority of the time you're gonna say yeah. Especially when you're broken and you're down, and everything is already taken everything from you. The police have already taken everything from you. The city's taken everything from you. You have nothing to go home to. You don't have a home to go to. You have nothing to look forward to. When your brain is so fragile, so vulnerable, yeah, you can say yeah. Let's go smoke. So how does that make people feel when they want to get off the streets so badly, and then to be told that in order to get into the shelter you have to be clean for 2 weeks? How do you do that? Especially off of fentanyl or heroin, anything like that. You don't have the resources to be comfortable and feel safe while you're shitting and pissing yourself. When you're throwing up all over the place. When you stink and don't have nowhere to shower. When you're in pain, physical pain. And you just want it all to be over. How do you do that without the resources to feel safe while you're going through that, while you're dealing with that? You can't. It's just not viable. That's why these people don't use the resources the city is attempting to provide. That's why. Some people say these blues are the devil. I don't know how many times I've been asked that I do them, if I do them. I say no, and they say good. Don't ever. Because this shit is evil. And it's destroying people. People that before they ever hit the streets were their friends, closest friends, family. And then once the blues hit the street, it changed everything. It's worse than Corona. In my eyes. Only ever known a few people who have had Corona so far. But there are dozens of people that I see on the streets, that I know on the streets every day that are doing the fentanyl. They're on these blues. Dozens, if not hundreds of people. It's a plague. And I'm not sure if there's a way we can fix it or come back from that. But I'm doing what I can to help everybody. So again, if you can help me, help them, that would be great. So I'm going to try and become more steady and more consistent with my content, with my uploads. Try to release something at least on a weekly basis. Just to keep up the audience, keep y'all with something to listen to, something to talk about, something in your ear, some news, about what's going on, in my neighborhood over here in West Mesa. Keep you updated on that, and just to check in with everybody, and come together as a community. That's what we need right now, more than just about anything, just to be together and work together and help each other. But anyway, I got too much going on in the background. Dogs going off, neighbors having a soiree. They're getting down, having cervezas. Doing their thing. But I gotta get ready for work too. So, as always, your host, Zach signing off. Take care of each other. Help each other. Love one another. We're all we got out here. I love y'all. Take care of each other. We protect us. And uhuru.